Hello everybody and a very warm welcome to the latest episode of Hidden Jewels of Soul and Disco. Once again, a big thank you to each and every one of you who is supporting the channel, for the comments, for all the messages I'm getting. I really can't thank you enough. It's just an unbelievable journey and I'm so happy that we can share that. So once again, a big thank you for everything. This week we'll be featuring Revelation. Revelation, or Revelation Movement, which was the name before they became Revelation, had its root deep into gospel music, because those four young men who were Revelation were singers in some highly respected gospel choirs. Those four young men were Benny Diggs, Arthur Freeman, Arnold McCuller, and Phillip Ballou. They started out together in the highly renowned New York City Community Choir, and they later on became members of the famous the Isaac Douglas Singers, and they were also part in the release of the album Lord Have Mercy, which got a Grammy nomination in 1963. The poetress Nikki Giovanni heard of the group and she wanted to have the singers on her first album. And the first album was called The Truth Is On Its Way. The album became very successful and she loved the sound of the singers. So she requested the singers on her second album as well, which was called Like a Riddle on a Pond. During that time, the group did a lot of the singers did a lot of traveling, and they somehow thought that it might be good for their career to change directions, to get more into soul, R&B, a little mainstream, to get the message out there. And during their stay in the world famous, and if you're a Blakey fan or jazz fan, you know this club in New York. During their stay at the Village Gate Club, famous producer Richard Perry, who also took care of Martha Reese's first album after Motown, invited the group into the studio and offered them a contract to sing backing vocals on Carly Simon's record, Hotcakes. But the producer said, well, you are a group of 15 singers, we need far less. So out of the singers, 4 people became Revelation. And the rest is almost history. Revelation, all in all, released 5 records. 3 of them were called Revelation. And this week I want to point out their debut album, Revelation, from 1975. Look at this cover. That's so badass. It could be a movie poster. And during their career, like I said, they released 5 albums in total. In my opinion, this is the best one. It has a soulful gospel Philadelphia sound. And on this record, it's written on the back that the group was responsible for all the backing vocals, for all the vocal arrangements on this record. And you can really hear that. Also around that time, they made a remake of the world's smashing hit from The Real Thing, You To Me Are Everything. In all honesty, in all respect, that version is not near as good as the original one. But that doesn't do this album any harm. There are some other albums they were doing, because after this, which they're doing on the RSO label, they got a contract with RCA and did 2 albums with RCA. And one of those is Make Every Day Count from 1978, and also Get in Touch, which you see here, in 1979. And to be honest with you, it's missing the flavor, the sound of their first album. All the other albums which came afterwards are missing this. So it got really into mainstream, and therefore this is the one to go. And also in 1976, they were singing the title track of the blaxploitation movie Brotherhood of Death. And this song was called Get Off Your High Horse. And I got the single of it, I'm showing it to you. I honestly love this. I love this album. I love this album, this singer. So there you have part 1, and there you have part 2 of that singer. If you have a chance, listen to it. I'll put the link for this song in the description. Well, later on, Revelation had 2 follow-ups album in 1980 and 1982 on the Handshake label, but honestly they didn't do much. The group disappeared by the beginning of the 80s. Everybody went their separate ways and well, never really got together again. So let's talk about the first album. Like I said, it's a badass cover. And they also had great help on songwriting, because the title not the title track, but the track on this, Sweet Talk and Melodies, was written by no other than J.R. Bailey and Ken Williams. These 2 guys wrote the 70s smashing hit Everybody Plays the Fool. So all in all, the mixture of songwriting, of singing, is just phenomenal. And therefore, I would say, let's have a listen. You gotta survive, maintain somehow. You gotta survive. It's awesome, isn't it? I play this record quite often. It's, in my opinion, a great mixture of gospel and the Philly sound. And here you have the cover in all its glory. You see it has some ring wear. There's the original price tag still on it. Somebody paid 10 Deutschmarks for it back then. Here is the back side of it, where you have the singers, the name of it, name of them, and all the necessary information. And here we have the record. Let's see, this is side A. This is side 2. They also toured with the Bee Gees, because they were all on the same label, so they were pretty much big in the 70s, but unfortunately they couldn't bring that vibe up to the 80s. They were all highly talented singers. If you're singing in a gospel choir, and especially in these renommated gospel choirs, you really have to know your stuff. And they were brilliant. And it's sad affair that they couldn't continue that success with that. So that's it for this week with Revelation. I'm waiting for a Grail record, which was quite interesting to get. And once the package gets here, we'll open it up together and we see if it's really the Grey record or if I'm getting a Polka or Rick Ashley record. I wouldn't change the Rick Ashley record actually, but I would ask for a big discount. So we will see how this turns out. I'm waiting every day to get the package up here, and like I said, we're going to open it up together. And you will see my highest luck or my biggest disappointment ever on camera. So yeah, once again, thanks for watching. All the best to you guys, and I'll see you next week. Bye.